Welcome to Bay Focus, and happy and blessed Thanksgiving. Wow, what an incredible time of year for us to take a moment with families, friends, and just be thankful, but most of all, to be thankful to God. And I'm so glad you tuned in this Thanksgiving week, and we have a very special guest coming a little bit later in the show that is going to really wrap up this season for us, this Thanksgiving week, really share with us the importance, significance of it. And that, of course, is Bodie DeAndre, our general manager here at WCLF-TV in Tampa Bay Station, CTN, part of the overall CTN management team. So I want you to stay tuned for that later. But before we take this into our Thanksgiving week, we have an incredible guest with us today, and a ministry that is going to be familiar to some of you, the overall ministry, but there's a different side of it that you may not be familiar with. And we're going to focus on a ministry called Young Life today. And with us to really share about this ministry is Danielle Ellzey. Welcome, Danielle. So great to have you on the show. And let me tell our viewers who you are. You are the Tampa Bay Metro Young Life Capernaum coordinator. And we're going to find out what Young Life Capernaum is. But before we do, tell us about Young Life. There might be people that aren't familiar with this youth ministry. What is Young Life?
Yeah, so Young Life was started up back in 1941 in Texas by a minister who was watching high school students who are unchurched and was thinking, how can we get the word of Jesus to them? These kids who are never going to walk into a church. Well, let's do something fun and crazy that feels like a normal teenage hangout. We'll call it club. We're going to play games. We're going to make them laugh. They're going to dance. They're going to sing songs. And at the end, after their walls have been broken down by laughter and fun, a leader who they know, who walks through life with them, who goes to football games and cheers them on and standing in the student section with them, is going to get up and share about a 5 to 10 minute message about who Jesus is, and the invitation that he has for us to build a relationship with him. And so we are going strong however many years later that is. And Young Life is actually how I began my relationship with Jesus when I was in middle school.
I think that's a really cool part of the story, right? That you are now working with the ministry, and that was your story.
Yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love it. Well, Young Life is something I'd heard about, because what you have is you even have, obviously their focus was the unchurched, but you have a lot of kids in youth groups and church youth groups and things that are doing Young Life too through their schools, the different organizations from schools. So I think that is very cool. Now we want to go into a little bit more. You are specific to what you do. What is Young Life Capernaum, and explain the name?
Yeah, and so again with Young Life, our mission being to essentially reach the furthest out there kid. And of course, that sometimes looks like our churched kids. And the goal with them is to bring alongside a friend who might also benefit from being introduced to Jesus.
Right.
But when back in California, this was about 45 years ago, they said, if we're for every kid, if we're for the furthest out there kid, there's this population that hasn't been reached, and that is the disability community. These kids, especially back in those days, they're classed in trailers that are out on the other side of the field. They're eating lunch separately from their peers. They might not be welcomed in a church environment. And so let's create a space where they get to have that traditional fun teenage experience, build lasting relationships, and hear about Christ. And so that is when Capernaum was launched. And we're now in every state in the U.S., and we are in over 100 countries. And so it is just growing and making impacts. And the name that you mentioned, Capernaum, is a biblical name.
Yes.
And that is from Mark 2 and the story of Capernaum, where Jesus was preaching and there were 4 friends, and they had a paralyzed friend who they said, we have got to get him to the feet of Jesus. He has got to hear this. And so they were so excited. They picked up their friend, they carried him, climbed onto the roof, dug through the roof in this packed room, lowered their friend to the ground, to the feet of Jesus, and he was healed. And I think that more than just that man was healed that day. I think people that witnessed it, I think their friends were And so our idea with Capernaum is that we too want to do anything that we can to get our friends to the feet of Jesus. I have yet to drop a kid through a roof.
Yeah.
But I have been alongside leaders who have carried up friends 4-mile hikes up a mountain so that they get to look out and experience God's creation. I've experienced leaders learning all sorts of medical devices, all sorts of communication tools. Really, we just learn to be comfortable in the uncomfortable and build these lifelong, lasting relationships with these people that I personally think look a lot more like the person of Christ than I do.
Wow, that is so beautifully said, Danielle. All right, in just a few moments, we're going to show a few things on the screen visually and what you do. But before we do, tell us the specific things you do. And you're located. Give us your locations first here.
Yeah, so I'm over the Tampa Bay metro area. We have direct ministry, active ministry in South Tampa and in New Tampa. We also have, if you're in a different area within the Tampa Bay metro, we have ministry in Bradenton, we have ministry in Ocala, even Orlando. I mean, we're all over the state of Florida. But that's kind of what we look like here.
I love it. And all right, so there are specific, the model of what you do. There's certain things that you do. Tell us exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, so we have a couple different things, a lot of C words.
Yes, yes, you do.
we within Capernaum, we do what we call club, like I mentioned, and that is just a party with a purpose. It is fun. It is semi-controlled chaos, and it's where kids get to be kids. And so we play games. We do a lot of Just Dance. We have skit characters. We laugh. And we do that every other week. And that is when, just like I mentioned with traditional Young Life, where our friends come to us and we do all that fun, and then we get to hear about who Jesus is. From that, we invite them into something a little bit deeper. We call it Campaigners, and that is our Bible study, and that comes from, it was created in the 70s about when campaigns were a thing. So this idea to campaign for Jesus. And so with our Capernaum group, with our special needs friends, that we try to tailor our Bible study on a level that all of our friends can connect and learn about Jesus and learn how to apply that into their lives. And the last C that we do is camp. And so when you hear the word camp, I don't know what kind of connotations you have, but it is like luxury camping. It's not like nothing else. You'll see it when we look at some of the videos, just a little glimpse of what camp is, but it's designed to really reflect heaven. We don't have phones, and we throughout the week we hear the entire gospel presentation, and we walk with our friends on how to apply that to their life. And the thing that's unique about Young Life in general to me is that we're not just camp counselors who go to this camp. We're not just we come back and we do life with them. And so we have these experiences with them. We have friends who say yes to Jesus while they're at camp. And then we come home.
You follow, you're following up.
And we do a Bible study with them at home. We connect them with a local church. And
let's take a look. You mentioned some. Let's show our viewers what we're talking about. Okay. You tell us what we're seeing.
Yeah. So this is club and camp. This is called the Screamer. You will scream on it. And so just friends getting to experience life to the full. Just this adventure that we all crave in this safe environment that's beautiful. We do a lot of dancing. This is a video of club. We love Just Dance. Our friends are some of the most talented dancers and singers I know, and we just love to have fun together.
Okay, and are you out there in the middle? The workers are right out in the middle.
I'm in there.
Yeah,
I know a lot of Just Dance moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of our groups at club are bi-weekly gatherings, and this is a local camp that we have in Orlando. We're just doing all sorts of things, building these people hang out all the time. These are genuine friendships that I'm looking at. They go to high school together. It's a big Halloween party that we have every year.
I love that.
Yeah, this is our Bible study where we dive a little bit deeper, and so they have their paper that kind of helps them process that on their level. Some are drawing pictures, some are writing, some are circling things. Yeah. This again is camp. We had a flower war. So it is just, we have a lot of fun, and we have a lot of serious time as well.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. When you come together, is it you have young people with disabilities and learning challenges, but you're also everybody's welcome, right? They're interacting with people that do not have disabilities, correct?
Yeah.
You're trying to come alongside.
Yes, we have kind of 3 different levels of people that are involved. And so we have our friends who are there, who are our students with disabilities, ages 14 to 22, all sorts of intellectual and developmental disabilities. Yeah. Then we have high school buddies, and these are, I call them, they're the fun factor. And these are teenagers that are going to school alongside their friends. They're seeing them in the hall. They're with them in the band. They're living their life with them. Yeah. And so we're an inclusive ministry, and we want them to do that together. And then we have adult volunteers. We're about 98% volunteer run. And so we have adults anywhere from 18 to 90 years old who hang out and pour into these friends.
So there's opportunities for people to come and help you, which is what I want to ask you. All right. So one of the things we always want to do is provide our viewers with a way to come alongside ministries we feature. And boy, it sure sounds like there's opportunity with you on a variety of levels. So how can our viewers help you? What are the various ways they can help you?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we would love prayer. We have some specific prayers is that schools would open their doors to us, that we can meet more kids. Yeah. And then we also are always in need of volunteers. Like I said, 98% volunteer run. And so that is anyone who's 18 and up who has a heart for the Lord and has a heart for teenagers, specifically those with disability. And if you've never been around someone with a disability, we can teach you. And if you know nothing about Young Life, we can teach you that as well. And so we're always desperate for those people to pour into our friends and their lives. And then we are a nonprofit ministry. And so we're always looking for people to come alongside us and support us monetarily so that people on staff and our volunteers can continue to do what they do so that we can be able to provide the Bible studies and the clubs and all the camps and the things that we get to do for our friends.
Yeah, wow, those are clearly areas that I know we've got viewers watching that can help. Volunteering your time, the nonprofit side. Really, that's such an important part. The finances that are needed with that, and volunteers, the prayer, all of that. Danielle, thank you so much for sharing. This is, like I said, I've heard of Young Life for a long time, although we haven't really had an opportunity on Bay Focus to feature what you do. So this is so cool to be able to share with our viewers on what you do, and an incredible history of ministry that they have. One quick question before we wrap up. There's various Young Life chapters beyond Tampa around the area, right?
Yeah, we have a ton. We have, I would say we have Young Life in almost every major and some minor cities. And so if viewers are watching and want to get plugged in, you can go to the website, you can go to Young Life and kind of see different areas that you can be involved. We talked about, Young Life is the big branch. And then within that, we have Capernaum that I do. We have a bunch of other ministries that if you have different hearts.
It's a good thing to point out. A good thing that Young Life has this broad area. Yeah. All right, thank you so much, Danielle, for being on the show today. And we're going to show you on the screen again how you can contact Young Life Capernaum. And this is a ministry that you can get behind. Again, Young Life has a strong history of ministry. I like to say on Bay Focus, it's good ground to sow seed, and this is one of those. So here's the information on the screen. We'll be right back with more Bay Focus.
We want to hear from you. Is there an event happening in the Tampa Bay area? or an organization helping the local community? If you have answers, let us know. Email us at darleng@ctnonline.com, find us online at ctnonline.com/bayfocus, or follow us on Facebook at Bayfocus TV.
Well, I hope you can help Young Life Capernaum and support them. Well, we are excited now for a special guest we have on the show to really bring in the season here. This is such an incredible week, being Thanksgiving week, a very important week. And we want to introduce you to, if you don't know him, Bodie DeAndre, our general manager here at WCLF-TV 22 and here in Tampa Bay, but also part of the CTN management team. Welcome, Bodie, and share your thoughts with us.
Thank you, Darlene. You know, I'm usually the one that's up and jumping around and very lively, but today I want to take some time, just sit with you and opine a little bit about Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving to me, and my employees can verify this, is one of the holidays that I believe is becoming more and more underrated. You know, I think every year we kind of start Christmas a little earlier, and we kind of skip over a lot of Thanksgiving. And my employees will tell you that a lot of times I'll walk down the halls and I'll say this phrase: you can't skip a holiday to get to a holiday. And I think a lot of times in our culture, in our society, we almost come out of summer and go right to Halloween. And then once we get to Halloween, we almost go right into Christmas. And a lot of times I think, other than a big meal and maybe football, that Thanksgiving kind of gets overlooked. So I'd just like to talk to you about some of my thoughts on Thanksgiving, maybe some history, a little bit of what you may or may not know about Thanksgiving. Right now in 2025, there are approximately 15 countries around the world that celebrate a form of Thanksgiving. So it's not just totally an American kind of a thing. Most of them have to do with harvest or the fall season, but there is some type of gratitude and thanks during this time of year. You know, in the late 1500s, the Canadian settlers began the first Thanksgiving, followed by the colonists around 1621. That's when they believed that the first Thanksgiving actually started. And it was with a group of what became American settlers. They went out and shot, it's called fowling. They would go shoot ducks, birds, bring them back in, and then have a feast. And an Indian tribe that was close by, up in the Northeast, came knocking on the gates and brought in venison and other stuff that they had grown. That became the first Thanksgiving. And through that, we had many, many decades of peaceful relations with those Indians. But the key thing there was giving thanks for all that we had, for bringing us through. And the settlers were actually pilgrims and were Christians, and giving thanks to God Almighty for what He had blessed them with. That's really the basic history. But I want to talk to you about somebody, maybe you've never heard the name. Have you ever heard the name of Sarah Josepha Hale? Let me tell you about Sarah Josepha Hale. Without her, we would probably not have a Thanksgiving holiday whatsoever. Sarah was born in 1788 up in the Northeast, and she was a writer and wrote children's books. As a matter of fact, in 1829, she wrote Mary Had a Little Lamb and some poems that she published. So there you know where that came from. And she was involved in a lot of activist type of things that were family oriented. She also published some books and magazines. And for 30 years, she really, really pushed to have Thanksgiving become a codified holiday for the United States. 30-year effort. Well, as you know, in the 1860s, we were in the Civil War, and America had really, really grown fractured. She wrote a letter to then President Lincoln and said, I do believe if we will have Thanksgiving as a federal holiday, it may be a way to bring America back together. And so in October of 1863, President Lincoln signed in the national holiday of Thanksgiving. Very, very important. And he used it to help bring Americans together so that we all could be thankful. You know, right now, as I look around our country, you watch the news, you see what's going on. We have actually become a very tribal, fractured society. Everybody has their own things that they believe are important to them. And we've grown into this tribal thing within the United States. It's even bad enough where some families during the holidays can't talk about God, politics, social agendas, economic things. And it has really caused a lot of our holidays to maybe take a back seat to true family getting together. I would suggest that we bring family back and that we bring Thanksgiving back. And maybe, in my opinion, let's diminish Halloween and start Thanksgiving a little earlier. Let's look at those things that really matter the most. Thanksgiving is one of those holidays that I really don't care for. It's just kind of weird to me to ask other people for candy and have to brush my teeth twice as often. But it does bring families together. But I think the true meaning of Thanksgiving is a time when we can really get together and give thanks for the blessings that we have. Now, I don't want to diminish Christmas. So I have in my house, my wife and my children could do Christmas all year long. And we never want to stop celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. But did you know that President Roosevelt wanted to bring Thanksgiving up a week? It has been, since it was made a holiday, it was brought in to be the fourth Thursday of the month of November. President Roosevelt wanted to bring it forward to the third Thursday in November, so there would be a longer buying season for Christmas. Now think about the time that was done was during Second World War and trying to get people inspired and to spend money and going through a wartime process. However, he was overruled, and Thanksgiving happily stayed on the fourth Thursday of November. I want to encourage you today to maybe take a second look at Thanksgiving. Take a second look at your family. Take a second look at your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, and really get down to what you're really grateful and thankful for. Thanksgiving in some form, depending on which Bible you prefer, is listed in some form or fashion anywhere from 50 to 150 times in some form of thanks, thanksgiving, grateful. One of those terms is used that often. And if it's used that much in the Word of God, I think it's something that should be important for you and I. So wherever you're at today, even if you're by yourself, maybe you don't have a family, or maybe they're distant, you still have a lot to be grateful for. And those in the history of our great nation thought it important to make sure that we celebrate a holiday called Thanksgiving. Would you take time out tonight, today, sometime, and just count the things up that you can to give God thanks? Because you know, if you don't believe in God and you're really thankful, who do you thank? So I would suggest you thank God for all that He's given, all that He's done, and really make this a holiday to remember. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and letting me come into your home and share a little bit about the Thanksgiving season and all that it's meant in the past and all that it can mean for the future. When you're grateful and you're thankful, it's hard to be depressed. Giving drives out depression. Being thankful gives life and lift to your current situation. So would you do that today? Thank you. God bless you. And now, Darlene, I turn it back to you.
Thank you so much, Bodie, for tying in the history of Thanksgiving, but also just the importance of it. I'm going to second what he said. I am a huge Thanksgiving fan. We literally, in our home, we do not. It is absolutely against the rules to put up the Christmas tree until the weekend after Thanksgiving. So we abide by those rules, and I have all my fall decorations out still because I think it's such an important holiday. But I want to address some of you that may be navigating this alone. We are going to be, my family is going to be visiting a couple of family members that are in nursing homes this year. One that has lost his son this year, navigating my nephew passed away this year. His first holiday, his first holiday alone. And you know what? It is those situations, and if you're one of those at home dealing with something this year, God is with you. Be thankful that He is with you. If everything else around you just seems like it's shifting ground, God is with you. Be thankful for that blessing. He has not left you. And I want to wish you a very, very blessed and happy Thanksgiving. And I'm thankful for you, for those of you that watch us each week. And on the screen, you're going to see how you can contact me. I want to hear from you. Have a blessed, blessed Thanksgiving. God bless you.
For over 20 years, Bay Focus has taken you behind the scenes of Central Florida ministries, community organizations, and local events. Join host Darlene Greenlee as she talks to local leaders about how Christians can express faith in action in their communities. Tune in on Wednesdays and Thursdays on CTN Greater Tampa Bay or watch on demand at ctnonline.com/bayfocus.